Heyo, OmniDogs and OmniKittens. It's OmniDog here from OmniDog's Vault. Here, I'm sorry it's taken me so long to record another video. Just a lot of stuff happening in the month of December of 2018, but it's 2019 and I vow to make more vids. I especially want to give a shout out to two people. First, Tyler Lindvall. What do you think of my sweater, man? Pretty decent, huh? Tyler is a sweater connoisseur, and I always like to look my best for he and his wife. And Travis Gilmer, he's a fan that has requested a little more OmniDog in his life. He was very kind enough to send me a wonderful text that was just so nice, saying that a lot of people miss my vids, and I can't tell you what that means to me. Thank you, Travis. So shout out to you for being a great fan. I appreciate it. So what's on the docket today? Let's start out with some reviews of some stuff that I just read. The reviews are all good. This stuff is highly recommended. We'll start out with my new favorite author or writer, whatever you call it in graphic novelville, Cy Spurrier's Coda. This is a great book. You need it now. What it is it looks like it's set in sort of a medieval times type of thing where all magic has disappeared. Only certain people seem to have, certain powerful people seem to have access to it. And it's about a guy, let me see if I can find some representative art. It's very beautiful. It kind of, the setting kind of reminds me of The Spire that Cy Spurrier wrote. It's a bard named Hum who has a bit of an ornery unicorn, sets out in search of his wife to save her soul. And it's extremely well told. It's funny, it's heart-wrenching, it's dramatic, there's danger in it. There's all kinds of interesting characters. Here's a mermaid in a bath that he strikes a deal with. The color palette's beautiful, and I just can't say enough about Cy Spurrier. This guy really knows how to write, and I think you guys all, this is by Boom Studios. It's only $10. It says volume 1 on it, so there could be more, but it's a self-contained story. Let's see, I don't want to show you too much because I don't want to give away any spoilers. But there's no magic, and you're dealing in a kind of a post-apocalyptic world where magic has fallen into the hands of a few strong people. There's bartering, there's danger, there's fights, there's mega adventure. 10 out of 10. I normally give it 5 out of 5 root beers, but I'm still not drinking root beer because of my diet, although I should really get some root beer involved to be drinking. I mean, these are root beer reviews, but Coda is a book for you. Definitely pick this up. Like I said, $10, so it's cheap, and I loved the heck out of this. Coda. The art is by, oh boy, Mateus Bergara, who has done work in Supergirl. So this is like a kaleidoscope of fun. Look at this. Look at the colors in this thing. A lot of fun, Coda is. The next book, these are all thin books that I could bang right out. This one's a little thicker. This one has a very interesting premise. It's called Skyward. What happens when a huge percentage of Earth's gravity fails? All of a sudden, people are able to float around and fly around. The main protagonist of this story is a delivery gal, and she has a father who suffered a tragedy because all of a sudden, one day, gravity just disappeared. And if you weren't in a building, you floated away. And so this is about this courier's adventures in finding out what happened when gravity failed, how it involves her father. This is what it looks like in outer space. It's full of everything that just floated away. They've adapted, and they figured out a way to go about their everyday lives, but they need special, gravity boots, and you have to be careful when you're outside, or you could just fly away if you don't have the proper boots on. This is an exciting, really well-drawn adventure. This is by, let's see, Joe Henderson, showrunner of Netflix Lucifer. So this is a really well-done book that is from Image. It also is only $10. So at in-stock trades, you can get it for cheaper, or if you're in Europe, you can get it from some other place that will sell it to you probably cheaper than $10. But for $10, you're getting a great read. This is a little thicker than Coda. Yeah, a little thicker than Coda. But it deals with the courier and her dad's tragedy and the tragedy in her life. And there's a lot of, I was going to say a little, but there's a lot of intrigue involved. So she's not just floating around. She discovers some things. She gets in some scrapes, some scraps. And she is a spunky, strong female protagonist. And I really dug this book. Skyward, 10 out of 10. That's right. That means you need to go out and get it now. I'm telling you, OmniDog highly recommended Skyward. Now, this next book is a series of books, and I chose to pick them up in trade paperback because I didn't want to wait for the inevitable deluxe edition, because I wanted to read it right now. The first volume was so good. I don't know when the deluxe edition's coming out. This year, next year, I wanted to read it right away. It's 4 volumes. It's by the fabulous Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, with the colors by Elizabeth Brettweiser. And I'm talking about, of course, Kill or Be Killed. Now, this is a remarkable book. Remarkable. The protagonist in this book seems to have been visited, tries to kill himself, is visited by a demon, and says that you owe me the lives. I saved your life from the suicide attempt. Now you owe me the lives of the unjust. So it's his job now, the protagonist, to go out and, with no superpowers or anything, kill who he seems to think are worthy of being killed, like criminals, or else the demon's going to kill him. So it's his. This is a deeply psychological, intense drama. There are not a lot of light points in it. It is dark. And I will say to you that if you or a loved one or someone close to you, excuse me, I'm sorry, struggles with things like mental illness, thoughts of suicide, depression, it could hit a nerve, because this really dives deep into what's going on in this guy's brain to make him put on a mask, get a gun, and go out and take out people that he feels deserve to be taken out. And he's involved with a woman, he's involved with the Russian mob accidentally, and they're hunting him down. That doesn't give too much away. It's a main point of the story. But he's had a history of mental illness and previous suicide attempts. His father was an illustrator back in the 60s of bizarre kind of good girl type art, but it's very dark and demented type of artwork, kind of science fiction-y good girl artwork. He also takes drugs from a drug dealer to try and keep his condition. It's not really, they don't say if it's schizophrenia or if he's manic depressive. I don't recall that they actually say what he's afflicted with. But Sean Phillips' art is, of course, fantastic throughout the whole thing. He nails the human face and with emotion like nobody's business, and the colors are beautiful and brilliant. So you have to ask yourself, and the demon keeps showing up whenever he decides he's had enough, the demon shows up and says, you have to keep doing it. But it's not as simple as that. It's way complex, way interesting. It's 4 volumes. First one's from Image for $10, rated crime and mystery. He has no superpowers, but he becomes a vigilante. And it is a deep, dark, psychological, twisty crime thriller that I think ranks right up there with Ed Brubaker's best. He has cemented himself as one of my favorite writers. I don't see anybody topping him soon in my list of top writers. This is just an amazing book, but be warned, it is dark. It has an interesting payoff, and you know, of course, the police get involved and things like that. I strongly recommend you read this book. It is an exceptionally written book, but be aware that it does deal really raw and to the point with mental issues. Excuse me. And that it is pretty matter of fact about them. That's part of what helps build the story. You couldn't have a story if he wasn't affected this way. And it's very interesting and intricate. It gets a 10 out of 10 for me too. The last book I'm going to review is The First Trade of She-Hulk by Mariko Tamaki, or Mariko Tamaki. I'm not sure. Artist is Nico Leone. Oh, you're killing me here. I can't even pronounce who the extra artist is. Dalibor Talajic. Sorry, I'm not good with that kind of stuff. But the art's great, and it deals with She-Hulk after Civil War II, where, spoilers, Bruce Banner is killed, her cousin, and it deals with her post-traumatic stress that she is trying to go back to being a lawyer. She's not green. She only turns green. She's not green colored anymore. She only turns green when she hulks out. This is really, really well done because it deals with a hero in crisis, dealing with the post-traumatic stress of what happened in Civil War II. I didn't read Civil War II, and it wasn't a problem. They do a good recap of what happens. And Hellcat shows up a lot because they're best friends. But this book really, really nails it. I thought this was a remarkable take on She-Hulk, and I highly, highly recommend it. You can... That page isn't that great to show. Trying to show some of the artwork. She's a lawyer still, and it has to deal with her trying to get back to her regular life and suffering from PTSD. It's really a difficult thing for her, and you don't see many stories written dealing with a hero in crisis, so to speak, and she's really struggling. And it deals with one of her clients that there's more to be seen with her client that she goes to investigate, and there's a lot more behind the scenes going on with this client and the client's building than you even think. Now, I read Volume 2, and Volume 2 is still pretty good. It's not as strong, in my opinion, as Volume 1. I haven't read Volume 3 yet. It's still fun. It's still a good book. I still recommend it. It's just hard to follow up how strong the first volume was. She's still dealing with stress. There's a few more. This actually, you know what? I take it back. I really do find it. This one was actually really interesting. At the very end, it tails off a little bit into kind of a little bit more, not superhero cliche, but kind of more superhero, typical kind of stuff. And the artwork's good. It's by somebody different. This is in volume 2. So, and I haven't read volume 3, as I said. That's coming to here soon. But I highly, highly recommend volume 1, which can be read just by itself. And then if you like it, go on and read volume 2. These are both not expensive. The first volume's $18. The second volume's $16. See if you can find them cheaper. But first arc, this one, gives a 10 out of 10. And I would say this one's an 8.5 out of 10. Still pretty good recommendations. Mariko Tamaki has a great understanding of She-Hulk and does a really good job writing it. So, that's it for my review. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Please hit the like button on my videos if you can. That does something to the to the YouTube algorithm. Please subscribe, and I promise I'm going to be doing a bunch more of these videos this weekend because it's supposed to snow and I won't have anything else to do. Thank you for tuning in. Peace and love. Peace and love.